Jennifer from Predominantly Paleo, here today to yak about yuca. I have a bunch of recipes using yucca root, like empanadas, egg rolls, chocolate ravioli, all that have been made grain-free for those of us with restricted diets. And today I'm going to take you through step by step so that maybe we can take some of the mystery out of working with yuca. I know it can be a little bit sticky or difficult to work with, and there's that thick skin you've got to get off first. So hopefully my step-by-step video will help. So the first thing you want to do is start cutting your yuca up. You want to get these ends off because they're not going to do you any good at all. And you want to get this thick skin off, if you can see. Oh, not quite in focus there. This skin is really thick, kind of waxy, and you definitely cannot work with it while the skin is on, but you also want to avoid eating the skin because you have some toxins that are actually held near the skin. So you can use a very sharp knife to get that off, and so keep cutting that skin off until you have gotten all the brown stuff off and any kind of bruising that you might have. You really want to try to clean that up prior to. Now I like to get my pot of water right here boiling while I'm cutting this up because it can be a little time consuming sometimes. And so I want to make sure that by the time I'm done getting the skin off this guy, I'm ready to get it right in the pot there. So we're going to keep cutting this, and then I'll show you what comes next. Right now I've got my yuca all cut up, and I do like to use bigger pieces. You can use a knife, a machete, a hacksaw, pretty much anything that can handle the rough texture of the yuca. And I'm only kidding, by the way, just use a knife, okay? Don't get all crazy on me. And then I'm going to take this and put it into my stock pot of boiling water, and we're going to give it about 20 to 25 minutes until it's fork tender, and then I will show you what comes next. Okay, so I have pureed my yuca, and I want to empty it now and let it cool off a little bit. You can tell it's pretty sticky at this point. So we're going to let it cool. Okay, so I have now emptied my Vitamix of the pureed yuca onto a cutting board. You can use parchment paper, you can use foil, anything kind of non-stick. It is very sticky when it first comes out because it's still hot. So you will want it to cool off before you try to do anything else with it. And we're going to let it sit there for a few minutes. To firm up a little bit. It's not nearly as sticky as it once was. While it was cooling, I pulled out these little fibrous pieces. Those are from the core, and they're really, I guess they are edible, but you wouldn't really want to. The texture's not great. So anyway, you can see how this is starting to firm up. It's not leaving a residue on my hands like it was as it cools. So we're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we can talk about some other options. Okay, so at this point I've let my dough cool for about 15 minutes. If yours is still sticky, there are three options you can try. You can refrigerate it for a few more minutes to take the residual heat out. You can add a little bit of oil to your hands to make it more workable, or you can use a little bit of coconut flour, just kind of sprinkle it over the top and start to work it in. As you do, it will absorb any excess moisture and allow the dough to be more workable as well. Alright, so I have worked a little bit of coconut flour into this dough. At this point, it is a very workable dough for me. So if you have tried one of those three solutions, hopefully by now you have a dough that you can roll. So if you were going to make your empanadas, you would start to flatten that and add your filling. Same thing with the ravioli. But as you can see, this is not sticky for me at all anymore. It's very easy to work with, and that's the point that you should get to with this if you try one of those 3 tips. Alrighty y'all, so hopefully my tips for working with yuca have shed some light on how to take some of the stickiness out, how to peel it if you weren't really familiar. And if you want to yak some more about yucca, you can find me at predominantlypaleo.com on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See y'all later.